Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Exotics Radio Podcast. I am Cracked, your host. We've got Flo and Moon over in Miami already. It is a great day. It is for me here in Sweden. It was a beautiful day, actually. Quite warm, at least. No snow, thank God. We do have Bailey's Bug Blog coming up very shortly. He's getting his stuff together. Got a wonderful show planned out for you guys. And without further ado, as per tradition, you know how this goes. If you've ever been here, you know that I always start off with a song. And if you're new here, well, now you know. I always start off with a song. So, I did decide to change up the music a little bit. Usually I play some lo-fi or some chill beats. Not doing that today. I'm not going to play the pop either. But I'm going to play a little bit of rock with a style that I used to grow up with back in the 90s, 80s and 90s. So I hope you guys don't mind. So, yeah, we just changed it up a little bit. So our first song coming up is... Well, I can't pronounce it. It's Beyond Something. I'll figure it out.
Wild motor
And then I was talking to myself in a muted mic. That's always awesome to do. Hold on one second. I think I need to do that. I'm wondering if people could still hear you.
Yeah, I'm going to test.
Yes. Yes, it works.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I've got a new mic here. Is that working?
It sounds crickly. Like,
Crackly. Ugh.
yeah, there's, it sounds like you get like a little crinkle going on every time you talk. It doesn't sound like a good quality mic.
Yeah, it's supposed to be, but right. Okay, let's do. Still crinkly.
It just, you know that cheap mic that you get with your phone that comes for free?
Yeah,
That's about what it sounds like.
that's annoying because it's a Rode mic, it's a proper mic as well.
Oh, that sucks.
Use right. So look, it might be some watershed swear words. Let me have a look at something in a second. We'll go from there.
Okay.
We will take off noise suppression. Still crinkly.
Yeah, there's still something going on in the background.
Right. Out of
Oh,
here.
no, it just sounds like I don't know. It just sounds really like pretty poor quality. I think the mic that I had last week was even better, and that
Yeah,
was a
right.
headphone
That's
mic.
no good. It's a Rode video mic or something, whatever this is. It's just not doing what it's supposed to do. Right, laptop mic it is.
Your laptop
Boom.
mic was actually really good.
Yeah, this is crazy. Right, here we go. A one, a two, and three. A testing, one, two.
There you go.
Crinkles, or is it better?
No, it's better, but I can hear myself.
Yeah, never.
Oh. So, ladies and gentlemen, you guys know who Bailey is. Bailey's Bug Blog. If you don't know who Bailey is, go check out his Bug Blog on Facebook. It's actually a really good read, and he does macro pictures. And you've actually shared your secrets with me and to the world on macro takes. So today's show is going to be talking about camera, and towards the end, or camera tricks and the trade and tricks. And then towards the end, we're going to talk about first aid and things people should know but generally don't. In my book, I think if you've got venomous creatures of any rating, I don't care if it's medically significant or not. I think people should know first aid. Simple as that. So there's going to be some tips and tricks in the first aid. No, I can't hear you.
Seriously?
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Right, yeah. It's going to be one of them, isn't it? Yeah.
All right. So, share some. Share. Let's start from the beginning. You posted a blog about how to do macro, and you also revealed macro pictures isn't just one zoomed in picture with high quality. Actually, there's quite a few things. So,
Can be
let's start.
done. It can be, but I like to focus stack images. It's a technique you use to stitch. It's a technique you use to stitch many high quality, short depth of field images together. Basically, you need you need a few bits of software. Photoshop will do it for one, but there are some dedicated ones like Zareen Stacker does it. You take multiple pictures of the small object, the small insects, and you stack them, you stitch them together, and you do a bit of minor editing, and you get the full picture out. Then
Oh, okay. Just a heads up.
I
Your video is slightly behind your audio. Just a heads up. It might seem a little odd, but your voice is much clearer than it was last with the previous mic.
video is behind the voice.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, we can do delays on that. That's something. Bear with me again. Bear with me again.
No problem. Well, that's what we're here for.
Okay, let's try 100 milliseconds. Okay, testing, test.
Still a little behind, but much better though. So, like I said, I'm not gonna nitpick. We in the house we have HD Arachnids, Moon over Miami, Flow, Asha Rants. We've got everybody's starting to pile in, so it's good to see you all. Thank you for coming for the show. It is Have a Drink with Me Friday with Bailey's Bug Blog today. What are you drinking, by the way?
Caramel coffee, basically.
I hate you so much. I hate you so much. I want coffee, and that sounds so good right now.
Nice.
That's okay. I have my rum. I'll just covet my rum, and then we'll be good.
That works, doesn't it? So, all right, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to plug in an Ethernet cable. So, yeah. Cheat the system.
He's gonna do it, guys. He's gonna plug himself in. Flo says, "Hey HD, hope you're doing well." HD Arachnid says they're having ice cold, refreshing Coca-Cola. That's great. I like how, I try to put on a somewhat of an adult themed show and people just come with their coffees, their Coca-Colas. I'm like, really? I feel like the only lush in town.
That's got to be better. Surely.
Oh, the miracle has happened. You have great voice. I see you. And your voice is matched up.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, happy days. The joys of Ethernet cables.
Oh, no, it's a little bit high now. I don't know what's going on. When you see the video, you'll understand what I mean. It's like there's a slight lag between the voice and the video.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, right. Darn it, basically. A bit stuck.
You could restart it.
Yeah.
I can play another song. Let me play another song. You can restart it and try to fix that.
Cool.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. As I was saying at the beginning of the show, for those who just came in, I'm trying to change things up just a little bit. So tonight we're gonna play some '90s style rock, some old '90s style alternative stuff that I grew up with. Just kind of bring back the nostalgia feeling for some of the people who are around my age. If you're, younger, you may like this kind of stuff. If you don't, I'm sorry. Just bear with it. It's just one show.
A sunny day, right there you took my breath away. Young and pretty, was it just a dream? The next day you called me up, you told me I'm your little buttercup. You came over and you fell into my arms. Well, I know what I feel. Please tell me your love is real. You make me smile when I think of you. If I am down or when I am blue, you make me happy, I feel so fine. Oh, how I wish that you were mine. I can't get enough. Hopeless lover. I woke up all soaked in sweat, with chills running down my neck. I'm going crazy from just the thought of you. A long blonde hair and your beautiful smile. Your sense of humor makes it all worthwhile. Don't make me wait, it's not a funny game. You know just what I feel. Please tell me your love is real. You make me smile when I think of you. If I am down or when I am blue, I can't get enough. You make me happy, I feel so fine. Oh, how I wish that you were mine. I can't get enough. Hopeless lover, a hopeless lover, hopeless lover.
Welcome back, everybody. We're waiting for Bailey to fix what he's got going on. So we had some audio, visual issues going on. And, of course, he's the man of the hour, so he's going to fix it. Thank you all for coming. Let's see who came in. We've got Tony's Tarantulas, HD Arachnids. So far, we also have Moon over Miami, as well as Flo. Thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate you guys coming in. It's just great to have you here. So did you fix it? Oh, really? Can you?
Nightmare really tonight, I think.
All right, there we are. Say again?
It's just sync issues. I don't think my internet's. We've got like a couple of external issues at the moment where they're relaying a lot of fibre in the village at the moment. So I wonder if things are a bit, connection-wise, are a bit of a problem as well.
It could be. It could also be on my end, since the host is coming from my end as well.
Yeah.
Because I don't have a video. I just have audio plugged in. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't know if
it
it's
keeps
my end.
faffing about, I might just switch video off. And just go audio and just chat. We'll see.
We'll see. So now we were talking about your macro expertise. I'm going to pick your brain.
Yeah, sorry. I hope everyone's
so-
all right. I'm just faffing with the settings. I hope everyone's all right anyway.
So how did when you first get your camera? First of all, what kind of camera, and then what kind of lens, and then we'll go from there.
You can do macro photography. You can buy add-on lenses for phones as long as you've got a reasonable one on your phone. You can buy add-on lenses for they start about £20 for a set. They're really good. You get some really good results with them. That's how I started. First thing I did, I had a Galaxy S5, and it allows you to switch the camera on it to Pro mode, which lets you set basically you can set sensitivity to light, which is ISO, shutter speed, which is your freeze frame from macros, and your aperture, which is it lets light in. It's the James Bond thing.
Yes.
It's that basically. So, but that if you set Pro mode on a Samsung camera, and I think a Huawei do it, you can emulate all those settings, if you know what I mean. So, and that's how I started. I was on holiday in Scotland, lovely place, west coast of Scotland, and it was just alive. It was in July. It's alive with insects, and I thought, you know what? Why don't I get out in the wild and start taking some pictures of these things? Went from there. It's became a bit, well, not an obsession, but a healthy interest in the end. So loved it. So.
Now, is there tricks that you can use for other phones? Because I have an A40, I think is what it is. Hold on.
First thing you do, you just want to see if it'll let you put it activate like pro camera mode. Yep, HD Arachnids he's just mentioned something awesome. Exactly right, bud. Good on the Note 9. Zenvo macro, yeah. So essentially, you could download an app. You can download pro camera apps, like you can get Camera FX, something like that. And again, these are software emulations. They allow you to change all the relevant settings to get the image you want. As you say, if you look at HD Arachnids, as mentioned, he's got very, very similar kit to what I started with. Very good. You get some amazing pictures.
I've got 2 macro kits, and I don't know what to do with them.
Yeah,
for a phone. So.
Yeah, they are. Flo's just mentioned Samsung are good. Huawei are, but over in England, we've got a couple of issues with the Huawei at the moment.
Same in Sweden.
As in like sensitive, or
sensitive information is being
that's where we're at with them at the moment.
It's getting plucked away without people knowing. They're having issues with that one. Certain models are allowed, but certain models are not allowed. So it's like, oh, well, how will you guys know which one's which?
Yeah, I've
I'll
got a
just, I'll,
Huawei tablet. I'm stuck with it's stuck on like an old version of Android. Unfortunately, it's a bit frustrating, really. That's and basically for the security reasons of why we can't update it. So
yeah. Um, Now, what about for conventional cameras? What kind of lens? What are we? Because I sat down with you and talked to you about that.
yeah, right. So after I'd sort of felt I'd done what I could do with my phone camera, which to be honest, hey Stefan, by the way, which to be fair, I didn't exhaust the options that you can do with a phone. You can get better than what I did, if that makes sense. But I just jumped onto another camera. I bought a camera called a bridge camera, which is the one I bought was a Panasonic FZ82, which is basically it's a step up from a phone. It's an all-in-one. Hey mate, hey, it's an all-in-one camera basically. It will go from wide angle, which should be 28 mil, something like that, and you could super zoom. You could go to like 1600 mil. There are caveats with that, but it was a massive. It's basically an all round camera. It's it's not bad. They're not a bad investment. Something like that. If you're not there, and if you're not looking to take it seriously, or if you just want a bit better image than the phone, you can look at a super zoom camera. What you do need, however, is a Raynox or a macro adapter to just put onto the end of the lens there in that instance. But
Okay.
you don't, with the super zoom camera, it's one lens, it's all mechanical. It's a shame I don't have it
Okay.
anymore. I've tried it in for a lens, so yeah,
Oh well. Um.
they're really good.
Okay. Now, what about Canon?
Yeah, I'm a Canon fan. The reason I is the colours and the detail on them. Don't get me wrong, I, there's so many. Sony's a fantastic, Nikon are fantastic. There's no point being a fanboy. Do you know what I mean? It's just I've used Canon previously. I've used Canon like with the little single shot things. I've used them with the small digital cameras you used to get years ago. Ixus 85 about 10 years ago. The small compacts. So I also like the lenses, so I'm sort of Canon through and through because you can get Sigma lenses for them. They're quite easy and they're a little less expensive, as it were. So I stick with
Okay.
camera. I stick with Canon even, but no, there's seen some stuff that people do with Nikon ones, which seem very good as well. They're fantastic. So, but with those, you're getting in the ballpark where if you got a DSLR or a mirrorless, which I have, um, that's where you've got as you'll know, like you've got the interchangeable lenses in that instance. So, for an example, I don't have it to hand actually. It's somewhere over there, which doesn't help matters. Um, as an example, I bought a dedicated macro lens. It's a Sigma 105 mil lens, and the optical quality is basically the glass is really good. However, it's produced very well refined. Um,
Okay.
Aperture, it lets a lot of light in, or it also lets me set the aperture very what do you call it? It lets me close the aperture down by choosing something like an f-stop of basically if you basically close the aperture down, let less light in. However, you gain greater depth of field because the way the image hits the sensor when you do that. So if I take a picture at this, can you see this for an example? What's happening here on the video? Okay,
Yep.
this is an aperture of f1.4, which keeps me in focus, warts and all. However, you'll notice if I was, in fact, let's try this. Let's see. Okay, can you see the blurring in the background now?
Yes.
Yeah, that is all about aperture basically. So that is a wide open camera lens which works in low light, that using an aperture of f1.4. That creates this background effect called a bokeh effect. So that's very desirable for video. It's the out of focus video basically. So, however, with a macro, when I'm taking pictures, I want to get a very small object with as great depth of field as I can, like not just get a picture of his nose, which you essentially get a picture of my nose when I'm on camera. So you just want to get you want to get a large depth of field on a very small object in that instance, and that's done with a lens which allows you to close down the aperture. Like essentially, it's making the hole where the light comes through. It's almost the size of it's like the size of a coin or something, even smaller than that. Like like the head of a tack. That's what is allowing the light to come through. If that makes sense. You're closing the aperture down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the problem is when you start doing stuff like that, you bring in image issues. You need a sharp lens to do that. You need a good processor on the digital camera, but it starts creating like a soft image because it's not taking the light in as it should. It's not getting a true image, as it were, and it causes things like diffraction. So, as an example, the corners. Let's say we had Scotty. As an example, let's say if we had diffraction here. Let's say that corner would be very out of detail. Yeah, poor basically. It'd be poor detail. That even my face you'd not be able to quite see my stubble the same or anything like that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, and HD Arachnid's got some good points there. Yeah.
I'll put that up. HD Arachnid says, I use the Nikon P530 for the point and shoot stuff, and then when I'm not using my phone as a backup video camera for a second angle on my videos.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of it though. It's got a 1080 video, but you really gotta play. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, point and shoot camera.
And then the lighting to get true to life color. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's where we're at with that. Oh. Hello, Scott. You all right?
Okay, so I just want to give Scott Animal Adventures a personal shout out. He is my co-host on Wednesdays, so.
Cool beans.
Yeah, no, he's actually starting to. You missed it this last time. He's starting to use the shared camera to get live feed of his animals as we're doing our podcast. So. Epidemic Sound cannot say, well, you're not adding your music to your videos to make a standalone. No, the music is the background music to his animals. So it's nice, like it's a little,
that's the way to do it. Yeah,
little hole in the loop there. Because I know they're going to come after me for some strange reason.
yeah, daft kids, yeah.
I guarantee they're not going to touch me until I start hitting like the 500 and 600, followers, and then they'll be like, hey, you gotta knock that off. So, and that is not gonna happen anyways, because in June I'm gonna end my subscription. But I have found a couple of places that do music for free. I just gotta find out if they do music enough for me to do what they would consider standalone, because it's not really standalone if I've got something in the background. And so I'm hoping, I'm trying to work things out, trying to keep everybody happy well enough so I can grow my channel and not be paying, like the one license was $10,000 a year.
Yeah, a bit flipping, yeah.
I'm like, I'm like, no, that's not going to happen.
No, it's you've had a bit of hassle with them, isn't it? It's not too much. But you'd expect a bit of loyalty, wouldn't you? But it doesn't work that way at the end of the day, does it?
No, they want my loyalty, not the other way around. So
yeah. We've got you.
But But the unfortunately, well, I wouldn't call it so unfortunate. I get it. Some of these artists do put a lot of work into the, as an artist myself, when it takes me a painting, it takes me 2 or 3 weeks to paint,
Mm,
to get all of those weeks and get all of those hours, because I'm, painting 12 to 16 hours a day. I get it. I would be really ticked off if somebody stole my artwork without my permission and started using it for their own.
oh yeah, big
I
time.
guess
Yeah.
so. I get it. I get it. When you making songs is probably not any easier. So and people want to get paid. I mean, these are whole crews that put these songs together to get them out there. So I mean, I
Yeah.
get it. But when you're saying it's free to use, if you pay for your license, you can use these music. Then the person should be able to use the music how they wish. They should be able to use the whole song if they want. It's. But then they're like, well, then we have to compete with radio stations, and it's like, that shouldn't be the customer's problem. That should
I
be
mean,
something you guys should have thought about.
these sort of I don't know what you call it. You call it free sounds. They're like the equivalent of what session singers would be, wouldn't they? Years ago.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. It's the new session singers, like the guy with
Yep.
saxophone who always turns up or something like that. That's the equivalent of these like YouTube or music producers as they are. So,
Yes. So back to the paintings, or not paintings, but back to the photos. So you've been taking photos for a long time now, for a while now. Do you have any of your samples? Do you have any of your work with you, or do you want to do that for a different
I could
day? Or...
I could do and prepare that for another time, if you will, because it's just setting up the streaming stuff. I'm still learning all this, and as you say, we've had a couple of teething problems with this. Now,
Yeah.
at some point, yeah, it'll be a bit like where people invite you around and they've been on holiday and they get the flipping slides out or whatever. You know what I mean? But
Hey,
I
that's fun
can,
though.
if you give me a bit of notice, I might do it for a Wednesday. Would that be an option, or is it better to do it on a Friday? Because I'm away
it,
next Friday, unfortunately.
it would be better to do it on a Friday,
We'll
especially
do it the
since
Friday after.
well, like I said, Scott has his, because I'm co-hosting with Scott on Wednesdays,
Yeah.
and he has his animals in his collection. And then also a reminder, everybody, once we get to 100 subscribers, I will do a face reveal. And then I will start doing stuff with my tarantulas with a camera.
Yeah, cool.
So it's just I'm trying to figure out how to set this up as well for my tarantulas in the future, because I don't want to just do. I want to start doing short films like some of the people have started doing. I think it's a really great idea, and plus I'm very proud of my babies. So especially
Yeah,
since today. I'm excited. Today I found out my favorite. Well, I wouldn't say she's my favorite. I would say she's one of my favorite tarantulas, probably because I love her personality. But she was like the second tarantula I got getting back into the hobby.
What was
And for almost 4 years, I thought she was a boy. Because
yeah,
somebody
yeah,
likes to chew up their molt and then throw it away. I'm like, son of a gun, stop doing that. And she's very dull in color. And I mean very dull. So I was thinking, oh, she's a boy. So today I found out she's a girl.
what species?
I call her Redonkus. The Redonkus.
Yeah, yeah. Is that
The
the one
orange
they
mouth.
call the Darth Maul spider? Is it? Or is it?
Is
No?
it the Darth Mole? I just know she's
Oh,
the
no, I don't know. Is
orange
it? No,
mouth.
Scott might
Well,
know. Yeah.
she's got a very brilliant golden body with a orange mouth, and the orange mouth
Nice.
is bright orange. I mean, it's almost neon orange. It's beautiful.
Wow.
You can definitely tell why they're called the orange mouth tarantula, and they're arboreal, of course. They're a Samopalmus species.
Yeah.
So they're the New World featherleg version, pretty much. So
Yeah.
I just really love her. She's got this great personality. You know, when you're digging around your tarantula's enclosure to clean it and do maintenance,
Yeah,
you know they get kind of testy and they want to hide, and you're like, okay,
yeah.
you know, you try to give them their space, but it's really hard to. With her, she's just probably the most chilled ever. As long as she can like stretch out on her cork bark when you're doing so, she's perfectly fine. She doesn't bother. She doesn't try to get out. She doesn't like try to be spastic or anything. She's really calm, and I'm like, can the rest of them be like you?
I don't think I'm blessed with that. And this is it's not like I've got any really feisty ones. I've not. I guess I've got the classic. I've got an OBT, but none of mine are docile. Like even my Brachypelma, which is Brachypelma behind me. Someone's doing something, but it's just off shot there. But even that, it's just repos are us, daft
No,
things.
no, not with her. She's just she as long as she can like stretch out. She doesn't even like go into this. You know how the P. erminia and the Regalis do that long, thin. It's
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
call
that's ace that pose. Yeah, yeah,
yeah. There's a
yeah,
pose that they do, and it's like you know
yeah,
they're getting ready to bolt. It's a bolt
yeah,
pose. This
yeah.
is just to make sure they can compress themselves together. No,
Hmm.
she is absolutely spread out. I mean, spread out. I'm like, dude, I could practically measure her, and she doesn't care.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, I don't know. I don't know where the where I don't know if it's just her clutch or if it's I don't know if it's just a species because she's the first one I've had of the species.
Gotcha. Yeah.
No, HG Arachnid says the P. Victory is the
Oh,
Darth
that
Maul.
cool. Cheers, mate. Cool.
So, but yeah, no, the with her, she's just very calm. But for an arboreal, she's not flighty. She's not like super bolty or anything
Mm.
like that. She's just. I'm like, oh well, you're fun.
That,
Yeah.
Tapanicius I had. I think you say it like Tapanicius violacellus. I'm going to say St. Vincent's tree spider, I think is a common name of it. That was Bolt City, that thing. You can just tell it's designed for speed as well. I mean, even Samabeus sort of have, even they have a little bit of a tarantula shape to a Dolna, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Well, these things, as you call them, smooth. It's not. It's a tarantula, Magalamorph, but it looks like what you would call a smooth spider. They almost look like an arboreal funnel web, and you just flip it. Oh, I mean, it's. I mean, my true spiders are faster, but oh yeah, old feet, yeah. Speedy Gonzalez has got nothing on them things. Flipping heck. Whoosh!
Yeah, if you want speed, you could try the fastest tarantula in of known tarantulas,
Yeah.
and that's the Streptopelma
No.
calceatum or calceatum. The escal. The
Yeah.
escal. The escal actually is scientifically proven to be of the known species of tarantula the fastest one,
Yeah. Yeah. That's it.
and they just teleport, and that's why I've named mine Telly, for short for
I was going
teleporter.
to say I've not got one of them, and I was going to say I read something. It's probably on arachnid boards or something. I'm sure the Stromata Felma, is that right? Yeah, it's calciatum. Yeah,
It's
it is,
calceatum
isn't
or
it?
calceatum. Yeah,
It's yeah, yeah. It's just my
it's
accent.
escal.
That's just a Lancashire accent for you. That's all. That's um, they
And the thing is,
mm,
and I was gonna say the thing is with the escal, I think they've got such a bad rep because of their venom.
mm,
The venom potency. I take extra precaution with them because I can't afford to get him
I've
out,
got
let
an
him get
H
out.
mark. I treat that like that. Yeah.
And they can kill pets. They can kill
Mm,
small animals.
yeah, yeah, I
They're
get you. Yeah.
you gotta remember they come from areas that the animals, the mammals, will eat them. So they have
Well,
to have some sort of a
it's also got to be one shot, one kill, hasn't it? They've got to get the bite in and doof, get
yes,
rid. Yeah.
yes. So again, it's the area that they come from. They're evolutionized to live in that area. And so with the Escal, I do take extra precautions to make sure that lid stays down because he's been my escape artist from day get one. Well, not escape artist. Let me take that back. He is the wannabe. He's the one that you put in an enclosure, and after every molt, he goes around and tests all the edges of his enclosure.
Phalax is my flipping escape plan B every 5 minutes. That put food in, spray it with water. Born in Lancaster, I love that city. So it's just Stefan there. That city is absolutely fantastic. I've got friends still live there. Try and get there when I can. Get there about. I'm heading up that way next Friday actually. Might end up stopping off there. So yeah, I used to help out. I used to do the setup for a club night in Lancaster. I used to love it. Excellent university. Yeah, it's an old. So we're going off on one here, aren't we? As we usually do. So, yeah.
It's all right.
It's an old. I think it's an old one of the Roman cities, if I remember rightly. I used to help. Yeah, sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead. You go first.
I used to help set up a club night called A-Wing, which was held in the prison there, which was really good. In my
Millions
youth.
of critters. Hey.
Hey, millions, all right. Yeah,
but no.
Lancaster.
Going off topic a little bit, have you heard the news of the new tarantula that's been recently discovered?
Nope. What's that?
Florida has their own tarantula. Florida from the U.S. has their own tarantula now. Though they're a little hesitant to call it a tarantula because they're still examining the new species. But it's a straight up old. I mean, it's a tarantula. It's a trapdoor tarantula in my book. But that's their own. But it lives in such a small area. It's considered critically endangered.
Crazy, isn't it? Yeah.
So anybody curious, go look up rock pine spider, Florida rock pine tarantula.
Oh wow! Right, yeah, cool. Yeah, interesting.
And it's funny because one news group tried to say it was invasive, but then in this same report turned around and said the scientists believe it's only living in this sort of area, so they might be critically endangered. And I'm sitting there like, what?
There's a term, I think the term's endemic, isn't it? They say it's endemic to the area. I think that's the right term. Isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's.
Well, you mentioned someone else. I remember you mentioned there's like a mini tarantula in America or something as well.
It's also critically endangered. This one actually is truly critically endangered. It's only found in Tennessee. It's found in the caves in that area, and it's so tiny. It's so little. I want one, but of course, the cool, because this one lives and thrives in cool areas. This is because it lives in a cave.
Right. Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah.
And so it's about the size of a pinhead.
What the?
They've only found so few of them because, for one, the size is very hard to find them. So they're just a wee smaller than a jumping spider.
Wow. And I suppose the equivalent of that for us is we have, anyone from the UK might know, we have, I think it's Dolomedes. I don't know which one it is. I don't know if it's Triton or we have it's a raft spider of some sort, a fishing spider, and you can. I have been where you can find them actually. The one area which isn't giving anything away is a place called the Norfolk Broads, but they're also restricted to some very specific sort of. What do you call it? It's called studland, I think. Sort of headland where they live. Very. It's like fresh water, but it's freshwater pools, which are essentially on moorland and heathland, which is a strange mix, if that makes sense.
Yeah, see, HD Arachnids was saying the pine rockland trapdoor. Yes, they're very hesitant to call it a tarantula, but if you
Mm,
look at how it's built with the pedipalps
yeah,
and how it how it acts, all of this, all the signs of being a tarantula there.
interesting
So
stuff, isn't it?
but it's only found in the Rockland Pine area, which is the whole Miami Zoo has made that area so they can protect the wolves and the I forgot the other animal, but basically that whole area is just a zoo. So it was the zoologist that came across it, and they're like, oh, oh, well, hello. So that's
Um,
really cool.
so we had years. This was in, I think it's in the late 90s. They discovered cave spiders again in England, and that's a massive. Obviously, the tabloids just went stupid. It was a mega. It was the devil himself kind of thing in a spider form. I don't know if they're Menominati or something like that. I don't know. Again, it sort of maybe Scott knows something like that, but they were discovered. Apparently, they're very, very isolated species in certain ranges of caves, but they found them in a lot of the old Scottish castles because they were essentially that sort of habitat. They're a true spider, a smooth spider, as it were. I think they're essentially they're not far off. They're not far off like false widow kind of spiders. A
Okay.
just don't look at that. A Phonopelma paloma. Does that say there? You just look HD arachnids has mentioned something. And Scott wants to go to Kent, basically. Scott wants to go to the Isle of Sheppey. That's the one. Yeah, that's it.
Let me see. Let me see if I can type that in. The F, because I was trying to find it earlier. Because it's only found in caves.
Mm.
And it's only found in
These
Tennessee.
Scorpius, yeah.
Let's see, Anopelma, Phaunopelma. I can't spell to save my life.
I have a nightmare saying
Phaunopelma, Phaunopelma paloma. I don't think that's it.
Meta. Exactly that. Cheers, Flo. Thanks.
What's going on? Metamarindi. Okay. So Rackets says they can't type and I can't spell, so we're two peas in a pod. I don't think this is it, because that's found in South Arizona. This one's actually found around Tennessee, so no, that's not it. I'll look it up during the song. I'll look it up after through our next song. We play another song, but yeah, I just love the fact that they're actually it's it's 2021, and so you kick off the year with a new discovered species of spider,
Hmm.
and it's extremely rare. Nobody's going to be able to get their hands on it because of how critically endangered it is. I mean, it's just a fraction of Miami is where they live. So
Yeah, I get
they,
you. Yeah.
so you have that, but then you turn around and you have, like I said, they're starting to come out with a car that drives itself. It's actually gonna hopefully hit market that sometime this year. Then you find this, and then it's so much better a year so far than last year. And so,
Yeah.
so when I was saying that, and then I come across a small article that was talking about, what do you do if a spider bites you? Well, then it started to get me thinking, how many of us actually know about first aid? Really, how many of us actually know how to take care of a tarantula bite? Because, I mean, granted, we all would like to say we will never get bit, knock on wood, but I know people are there's going to be sometime, somewhere, someone, that's why they call them accidents, they're going to get nailed. So how would you go about treating it? Well, not too many people really know how to, not thoroughly. Because first of all, you gotta, and I'm not talking about just medically significant. Significant. I'm talking about
Mm.
tarantulas across the board. Because now you have to worry about secondary infection. Secondary infection is what's going to catch you. It's not going to be
Oh yeah,
the
I mean,
initial.
yeah,
It's not going to be the initial cleaning. It's not going to be the initial bite. It's going to be 3, 4 days down the road when you realize it's not going to get any better. That's what I'm trying to help avoid, and that's something we all should know, especially because we are handling these animals on. Some of us maybe not on a daily basis, but there are some that do. They have such a large
the
collection.
hairs just get me.
Yep, exactly. And again, it's not just the bites when you're dealing with the tarantulas either, as you said. It's also the hairs. What happens if we get it into the eyes? What happens if we get it down on our, in the mouth and down the throat because we took that deep breath real quick,
Yeah,
like that, that quick crap. You have glasses, but
no, but I'm mentioning there's potential. We're not sure. I'm a doctor, but I have because I might have been stung in the eye actually when I was on my mountain bike as well. We're not sure, but we're
ooh,
not 100% sure if it's LP hairs have caused me some cornea damage. So do not piss about with
ooh.
them because it's a big deal. If that's the case, it's a big deal basically.
Have you
My
seen
bo-
the? I was gonna say, have you seen what happens to the cornea if the LP gets in the eye?
Yep.
It's all over. Just Google it, and it's
Yeah.
just horrifying. So that's
Hmm.
something anybody needs to deal with. So yeah, that's what I wanted to touch on a little bit. Is the first aid issue. People generally take our tarantulas, and I'm just as guilty. So I'm not pointing fingers or saying anything. I'm just as guilty. Getting really laxed with them because we think we know their attitude,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that just takes that one day, that one moment that they do something completely out of what we think is
Not
character,
Joker, just one bad day. Yeah.
and it messes you up. So what happens if you get nailed with hairs in the face and you get it in the eye? Okay, first of all, don't rub your eyes. Please don't rub your eyes. That you're just gonna make it worse. Take a shower and rinse out your eyes. I have emergency eye wash, and I highly suggest people buy those. They're a small canister or they're a plastic bottle. It takes 2 to 3 years, depending on which one you want to buy, that they expire, and it's just saline. It's saline solution, and yes, washing your eye out with that will take care of the hairs. If you rub them, the hairs are going to embed themselves further, and they're going to break off, and then it's going to be you're it's going to be a world of hurt after that because they don't work themselves out; they actually work themselves
Like
deeper.
myself in.
That's exactly, they're backwards barbs, and it's just like a drill, getting a drill in the eye. So think of these little tiny shards of fiberglass with backward barbs going deeper into it's not pleasant. So please don't touch your eyes. Use eye wash, wash it out. Yes, the bottle's about, I think it's 400 to 500 kroner, depending on where I get it. So I don't know how much it is where you guys are at. So it's about 40, 50
Well,
US dollars or 40, 50 euro.
I mean, because we're not sure of the issues that have caused my scarring, um, I had to have all sorts. It was first discovered back in 2006, basically. And what they had to do was I had to have dye in my eyes. So I had blue dye dripped into my eyes, which then they took a picture of the eyes and then it showed sort of the scars going over the iris and stroke the cornea. I can't have cornea transplants because you can never tell if it's going to take anyway because we're just not sure of the cause. It could be something related to me genetically. It could be a natural issue or something. Which caused it. So we're just not sure. But we are edging to either the spiders or the things that used to happen when I was mountain biking, like things just going down the side of your goggles and stuff. Um, Now I had to have steroids. I had to have antibacterial, antifungal drops, and what else? And these freezing drops as well. They used to have to freeze my drops, which should, well, if you'd add some certain spicy substances instead or something like that. And basically, yeah, I had to be. I mean, I was how old would I have been? I was headed to 30 then. And I had to have an adult accompany me, another adult come with me to hospital all the time because for like 12 hours, my eyeballs, I couldn't focus because of the way they dilate. They use these drops and dilated my the pupils with them.
Yep. And
So
then
now there's utmost respect, and plus the hair's kicked my aspirin off anyway. Yeah,
that's another thing you have to take into issues if you have any prior medical conditions.
mm,
I have a brother who has asthma, and
mm,
he can't deal with the tarantulas. There's no way. He worked with fiberglass almost all his life, and once he
yeah,
has a
I've had
fit, once he has a trigger, he can't. It just won't stop. Flo, what you can do to avoid getting it in the face is just goggles, or safety glasses of some sort. That they work really well. For me, I don't really generally use it that much. But again, I'm complacent, so I'm not gonna. I don't blame anybody. And you'll see a lot of people now
that.
taking better care. They're wearing the goggles, or not goggles, but the safety glasses and the gloves. So what happens if you get into the skin? Well, there's a couple of things you can do, especially around the fingers and hands. That's generally where you're going to get hit, anyways. So Scott had a little adventures. Scott, stop it! All I see is or a Death Vader face mask with a voice changer. Oh my gosh. So what you could do is warm water, soap. That usually helps. But if you still have the itch, you can take duct tape, place it on the affected area, and then rip it off as fast as possible. Yeah, it's going to take your hairs with you, but it's also going to take those barbs with it too.
I'm hairy anyway, so it's taking plasters off at the best of times a nightmare anyway. And just torture me that way.
So that usually helps. And if you have any allergic reaction to swelling, take some Benadryl, take an antihistamine of some sort, over-the-counter stuff. Do not take anything prescribed unless you're prescribed it by a doctor. And then also ice on the affected area, that'll help. So that takes care of the hairs. But when it comes to a bite, first aid, please have a small first aid kit within reach. I have a first aid kit in my room.
I have to for other reasons, like so. Yeah.
Yeah. So and then you want to wash it out and rinse it out as best as possible. I know it's going to hurt. You do not want a secondary infection because again, it's not the venom that's going to hurt you, especially if it's a new world. It's going to be the secondary infection, and that's no joke. And if you have any suspicion whatsoever that it is infected, go to a doctor. Do not think, oh, will it get better? Please go straight to a doctor. You do not know how deep it is. And then get this, you may also have to face getting a parasite being passed. You do not, unless you know that the animal hasn't recently fed. I know this sounds... Most people don't. That's the thing. I talked to a friend of mine who's in pathology, and that was a whole... I was totally grossed out. There's some places in the world that I've always wanted to go to and may never want to now that I spoke to them. Knowledge is power and quite frightening.
Leishmaniasis or something, yeah? Jesus.
But you're not going to catch a worm. You're not going to catch a worm or anything. What you may catch is
Protozoan, isn't it?
A small microscopic. I forgot what you called it.
I bet it's like leishmaniasis. I know exactly what you mean. You have to have flipping. Oh, you'd have to have amphotericin. I know a bit about this because similar to some. Right, yeah. Right, can I go on a tangent? You all right?
Yes, you go ahead. Yes, go absolutely.
So, what you're talking about there is leishmaniasis, which is given by biting insects in sort of the Middle East, yeah.
Yep.
And it is, you're exactly right. It's a protozoa and it's a single-celled organism found in all sorts of these. The classic, like the sand fleas, ticks can carry it. A lot of biting flies in that country, in those countries, and you have to have a lead-based infusion to kill the protozoans, and apparently, well, I've actually, to be honest, I have not related to leishmaniasis, not related to a parasite, but I've had lead-based infusion treatment for a fungal infection, a systemic fungal infection I got when I was very, very poorly, and it was horrid. The drug is called amphotericin, and it's a horrible green infused. It's infused over several hours. It goes in, like you get an IV antibiotic. Well, it has to be diluted and it has to be infused into your bloodstream very, very slowly over like 48 hours because of what it can do to your kidneys. And it's designed to kill parasites. And it's horrible. Horrible.
Well, the thing, we're not really generally where we live. We're not really what you call it at risk. As she was talking about, we're not really at risk because most of us get our animals from a clean, sterile environment. They're not susceptible to outdoors. But say, as she said, what if you buy a tarantula, or what if you buy a spider or an insect
wild caught
that you don't realize is wild caught?
Mm.
And what if it had been illegally transported that you don't know, but you bought it from somebody else? She goes, this is where you get that 1 in a million chance when bad things go south. So we got into this long discussion about it before. And tarantulas can pass down parasites, but it's usually when they've freshly eaten. Because their digestive system is completely different than ours. We're not consuming the spider, we're not consuming the waste of the spider. And the spider bite is actually it's not putting its mouth parts. It's not like our teeth. It's not surrounded by the bacterias. So what she was talking about is a freshly eaten tarantula that may get you from food that may be now exposed. Can a scorpion sting be parasitic? No. That's absolutely, they can never be parasitic. But what you can do is if you, and it's long story short, but what it can do is pass on the bacteria. If it stung prey and then turns around and stings you, it can pass on to whatever that prey item has been carrying. So this is something you have to be careful of. But the main focus is the secondary infection. So if you have an insect that has some sort of sickness, or it could just be normal bacteria for it, but definitely not good for us, that can get passed on after a bite. Now you got to remember, all of that goo, I just call it goo, the guts and the whatnot off of the tarantula or off the insect. It gets stabbed by the fangs, and then that fluid dries, and then they clean it off. They scrape it off with their hairs on the legs. I mean, they clean it, but they can't make it spotlessly clean. They don't have soap. They don't have. It's not like cats where they have the saliva to actually wash it off. So it could actually make you very, very sick with the bacteria. The bacteria is what the most dangerous thing is. And with tarantulas, the problem is, especially with the bigger ones, the deeper the wound, the harder it is to clean.
Mm-hmm.
So be very careful on how you clean it. And again, if you are bitten and you think it might starting to get infected, don't hesitate. Go straight to the doctor and tell them exactly what's going on. Hey, Mark. So yeah, there's a couple of things that can go really, really wrong south, but mainly it's going to be that secondary infection that really gets you.
See, this is I used to keep tarantula as well. I was very, very poorly in my early 20s. I had blood cancer, leukemia, and that caused something called neutropenia, which is essentially a lack of the white blood cells. So it's even T cells, which sounds like something out of Resident Evil, the game. Um, and that involved, I had to have an alcohol wash. So let's say if I cut myself, some wounds I had just took ages to heal. You know, and you don't clot properly anyway. You have to have blood transfusions to help with the clotting anyway, platelet transfusions. Um, but yeah, I had to avoid cats for one, which is I presume that was related to toxoplasmosis. I had to avoid tropical fish because of the natural sort of bacteriums which are present in all the filtration and everything, and obviously the bioactive and spiders, yeah, tarantulas. I had to avoid them for even the venom of relatively harmless venomous species, relatively low venom tarantulas. I would have had I had no way of fighting that small venom, if that makes sense. So there's all sorts. I had a toolkit basically with me all the time. You had to if I got a cut, I had to use the stuff on Manucept and just flush it with like an alcohol wash, if that
Oh,
makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah,
But also you have to remember a lot of the secondary infections that you get from any type of tarantula is usually one that's been feeding off of live mammals, or not live
all right.
mammals, just mammals in general. They're way worse than what they're eating off the insects. You have to understand dead meat, not so good for an open wound. So say you've fed your animal a pinky, and now you gotta clean it out, and he turns around and nails you. That's when you're going to expect a secondary infection. That's what it's going to be really bad. And then also parasites can actually get passed through that because it's the area that's infected. Again, stay away from.
Mm,
I don't believe in feeding pinkies to tarantulas. Anyways, tarantulas are
yeah, yeah,
inverts. They feed off inverts. That's what they're naturally feeding off of. They're also natural scavengers. So I get that sometimes in the wild, not all the time, you see them eating dead rats, dead baby rats, dead baby, you know,
yeah,
bunnies, squirrels, birds. You see they're scavengers. That they're going to eat what they come
yeah,
across.
exactly. Yeah,
But everything about them is made for inverts. And so you see a lot of. I hate it nowadays because now you see a lot of people feed them lizards. You see them feed them frogs, and you see them feed them pinkies or rats. And I'm like, why? What?
yes.
What's the point?
I know. I mean, I'm a bit loath to comment on that. It's not me who does it, but there's people I know, like they feed them the odd gecko and stuff, like a house gecko and stuff, or the odd anole stuff like that. And there's even people who've been in these chats with us, like, so I'm a bit loath to condemn, like they class it as the Christmas dinner kind of thing, It's probably yeah, I get it. Yeah, it's
If you want to give them a Christmas dinner, give them a big fat moth or a big fat
yeah,
hopper.
giving it.
But that's my opinion. That again, I'm not. How do I say it? I'm not like condemning and telling everybody they're absolutely wrong in that.
Oh
Now, if
yeah,
you're
yeah,
doing it
yeah,
live, if you're giving them live animals, oh, I'm going to tell you how wrong you are in every which way possible.
yeah,
But if you're feeding them dead animals like they would, I mean, if that's your personal belief that they get better nutrients or nutrition out of it, that's your belief. I don't see it. So it's not mine. It's
I
not
mean,
my thing.
have you ever seen any people? Well, you've got the experience with that anyway. Centipedes, like you've seen people who feed centipedes, like pieces, which is like
Mice.
pieces of steak. No, oh no, I was going to say, yeah, pieces of steak and stuff like that. They'll
Oh, really?
scavenge
I've
on.
never seen it.
Yeah, they'll
Yeah,
scavenge
dude,
on that.
they'll scavenge anything. I've
Mm.
seen people give them cat food. I've seen them actually
Yeah,
give them high protein food, which is cat food,
check
because they'll feed on it. If it's not harming the animal, again, that's their thing.
one, I think.
Now, let's see. I think Mark the Spider Guy is just ragging on me now, because Mark is like, or we give them a big fat
Evil.
roach. The thing is, he knows I'm absolutely scared of cockroaches. So there, I think he's just poking fun at me.
I don't like millions. Yeah, millions are said about the potential biting. I mean, I'm wary of even. I know you squish the head. Moriel worms, flipping. Um, have you ever? Even if you do, even if you crush the head on them, the way they move, I've had them like batter the hell out of my spiders. I've had to take them out. Crazy, like when you put the Moriel worms in, kind of thing, stuff like that.
Well, what I do is, especially if I know that they've got, especially the super worms, if they've got like,
Yeah, that's it,
if
isn't
if
it? Super one. Yeah.
what I'll do is I'll clip the head off. I have no problem. So I'll play
Oh yeah,
Queen
yeah.
of Hearts. That
Don't get me freezing.
Queen of Hearts is like off with their head, boop, and then just
Yeah.
throw that in there while they're wiggling. If they're still wiggling, that's perfectly fine.
Mm.
The tarantula still thinks they're fully alive, and in that brief moment, even though they are what I consider a prequel,
Tell you what,
they're still twitching, so they're good.
for spiderlings, cutting up mealworms was an absolute revelation when someone told me to do that. I never used to do that. You see, when I kept creatures the first time round, kept inverts the first time round, I used to feed them micro crickets, which were just a nightmare. They die off dead quick anyway, so
Oh,
stupid.
my,
And
I was
yeah,
gonna say there's a secret to that. What I usually do is I'll cut up mealworms, but then the next feeding, what I'll do for slings, and slings only, because I think slings need the more of the nutrient and the hydration than they do the actual protein.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Is a cut up maggot. So
Oh yeah, you
what I
said that. Yeah, a couple of
yeah,
people mentioned that.
and so they get hydrated through the because the maggots are completely, believe it or not, I hate saying this, and this kind of grosses me out. But the maggots you get from a fish store. Now, if it's a
I've got,
reputable fish store, they're all lab raised. I want to say raised,
yeah,
but they're raised in an area where they're all clean.
yeah, yeah.
If it's a reputable place,
Mm.
and so they're bacteria free, they're parasite free, and they're chilled when you buy them.
Yeah.
And so really easy, super easy to actually get at a fish store. Here in Sweden, we're not allowed the dyed. We're not allowed any of the maggots that are dyed,
Yeah,
because
yeah, I get
they
you.
call
Yeah.
that water pollution, and I'm like, really?
Yeah.
That's
Is
not
it,
water
is it just
pollution.
vegetable dye, like, or what?
Yeah, it's a vegetable based dye, but they don't care.
Mm.
It's like, no, it's not natural. Like, neither is fishing with maggots in the middle of winter for ice fishing. That's not natural either, but that's what most people use them for. Since it's not good for a tarantula to eat a dyed maggot, I just non-dyed. And again, they're clean. So what you do is you take one and you clip off the head, and then you chop it up a bit and makes it look like mush. Take half the mush, feed it with one sling, half the mush to the other sling. They're not going to eat all of it, but they're going to
Yeah, yeah,
consume.
yeah.
And I've not had. I think there's been two times, or maybe three times, where I've seen molt issues, and that's it. Of all
Yeah, I
the
get you.
slings that I've had.
Yeah.
So I think they get the extra moisture boost
Hmm.
with the extra protein in between with the mealworms. They cut up
Cool.
mealworms.
I've just
So
seen Stefan's just mentioned those little ones as well. I'm currently using them at the moment. I've got I've got this little sorry, got a small desert mantis, which it's a mixture between using the very small, tiny mealworms, and I'm trying. Well, actually, even springtails at the moment from my springtail setup. Put a few of them in, but it seems to be taking both of them. And I've got a small Macrothele sling as well, Macrothel taiwanensis, which is got a bit of oomph to it, I think. But that I'm feeding that the little mealworms at the moment. I just have fun and games with mites. With I know it's part and parcel of it, like with fruit flies for.
I hate fruit flies. Those are the children of the devil. I will swear up and down those things are the children of the devil. Because once you, I mean,
Flies,
they freak it. They go everywhere. For one, two, they have mites. You cannot get around it. It will happen. No, 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 no. I work very hard to keep my
See you later,
collection
Flo.
mite free. Oh, Flo's. Good night, Flo. Have a good one. See you later,
I've
sweetie.
also forgot about the camera question, by the way, Flo. So if you can give me a message or something, I'll be able to answer that properly for you. Just,
No, I have a to get off topic a little bit here. Something just moved behind your head. Which tarantula is that? That one. That one moved first, but then the other.
Nandrochromatus there is there. Yeah.
Okay. And the one on the other side.
Which side? There? Or
Yep. That one. Not that one. That one. Yep.
Black,
The middle
Black
one.
Elma Hamori there.
Oh, okay.
Elma Hamori. And that is a Grammostola pulchripes in there. That's in heavy pre-molt at the moment.
Oh, speaking of pre-molt. Oh my god. My Davus Pantaloris Pantaloris
Yeah. Mine is as well. Yeah.
Anyways, she finally molted. It took 2 months, but she finally molted. I'm like, oh my god. The thing is, the first time she started to really go into heavy pre-molt, I was like, oh, okay. I see there's this green. She was growing her green carpet, is what I call it. It's mold.
Yeah.
And so I was like, crap, I have to move you. So I cleaned it out. She, of course, went to the other side of the hide, to the other side of the enclosure where her other hide is. I was like, okay, no problem. And then as I'm looking today, I'm like, son of a gun, how did you do it? Because she didn't pull in any of the food in there. So there's really, maybe it was just spores on her. I don't know. But she's got another green carpet growing. I'm like, oh. But the thing is, she's just recently molted. So I'm like, I can't move you, sweetie. I can't do anything to clean that out now.
They're weird. I asked for some advice about those, right? I've always been told that it's Pentaloris, isn't it? Because there's the one. Is there the one we can never get? Is it fasciatus or something they mention? Does that make sense? There's another one, isn't there?
I don't
Costa
know.
Rican, right? I think there's two. I think there's Davus Pentaloris, and I think in the past some got sold as Davus fasciatus. I think it just missold. There is that species, but Pentaloris are the only ones you get in the hobby. I was told that I always try to keep them as like a rainforest species, and then I spoke to a guy who went over there to Costa Rica, a guy called Martin Lees, who I do message him now for quite a lot of like husbandry advice because he's been there to where they live, and he says they live in dry grasslands. Essentially live
She
on
prefers it.
Hmm?
I was gonna say she prefers it very dry.
Yeah,
Which is
so
weird because I was told that
originally,
they like.
yeah. Originally, everyone's telling me it's a rainforest species, but no, I've had to change the setup, which obviously is fair enough. Yeah.
Oh, and they do really well. I'm surprised how well she does. I was like, oh, because she always loves that dry side. Of course, I will always make sure that she's got a good,
Yeah.
a good spot where it's nice and moist.
Mhm.
I don't want them drying out ever. And it's too easy to do here, especially since I've got too many fans
Yeah, I
going
get you.
and
Yeah.
heater
Well, it's like with the
and
central heating here, so yeah.
yeah. Now, waxworms. Waxworms in Sweden are very, very hard to get. Here's why. They're invasive. Our southern climate is perfect for them. And so they're very tight on what we can have and what we can't, especially when it comes to those. So if you do come across a breeder of waxworms, they almost always never have anything in stock because everybody just buys it up. Now, if anybody's willing to send me some, that'd be great. Because I want to try something. I want to get some moths, and I want to be able to film my my arboreals, taking them down, all of my different arboreals. So I think that'd be great. I mean, moths can't really do anything. They're going to live very shortly. They're not going to live forever. And if they're in the, in each enclosure, it's not like they're going to, escape and have babies somewhere and then I'm infested. Not like certain insects that I shall not name on my channel.
That's why I like calciworms as well, because they're quite small and active like the waxworms, but they turn into soldier flies, which just get munched up, and you get loads of them. I guess it's the same.
We don't have those either. But we don't have those here either.
I don't think soldier flies. I don't know if they'd be invasive or not. Really,
no, that's the thing.
I thought this species was a Northern Europe one anyway. These soldier flies.
No, I don't think we have them.
All right.
No, you're talking about the fly that looks like a bee, right?
Yeah, it's black, isn't it? It looks like a black bee.
Yeah, and then some have black and yellow. Let's see. Let's see if do we have them here. I stand corrected. In Swedish record in Uppsala, not too far north of here. There was a few found.
Okay.
The black soldier fly was caught for the first time in Sweden, but when was it? It doesn't say. It just says the Swedish record. It doesn't tell me a year. For freaking give me a year. Why can't I have a year? And of course, when you click on it, it's like, no, we don't want to give you the article you clicked on. We want you to. Okay, so let me do this. Strat. Oh my head. Okay. It doesn't say where they are, or if we wouldn't have them in here in Sweden. Because you remember, you have to remember, we also, up until probably the 60s, we didn't have a lot of diseases that that most Europe has either. We were pretty isolated before the bridge was built, and before there was heavy import export. So we have to be very careful. Of course, it doesn't want to show me where. Why can't it just tell me?
I mean, I found them really good for slings as well. I like soldier calciworms for them, but they'll cover everything. You can give them juvies as well. And they seem quite again. They're probably a bit more. I found them sort of more docile than waxworms and stuff. So yeah, North Dakota too. Wow.
That doesn't tell me anything. That's something that always annoys me when you're looking something up, and you know how in some articles it has the countries that it's found in, and then you look up one thing and it's like no. I'm like, why did you change? Tell me where. But yeah, I don't know when it was found. The one article said it was found there, but I don't think it was found in Sweden, since it didn't want to give me the direct. Didn't want to give me a direct
Yeah.
article. So it's one of those sites where you have to be very careful. Yeah, no, I can't find it.
All right. Yeah.
Okay, well, I did find the scientific paper for it. It said an updated Italian checklist of soldier flies. Diptera stratatiomyidae.
Right.
Stratatiomyidae. I'm horrible at reading names. I apologize. I'm butchering.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, we do have our own. But I can't read that. I cannot. I hate it when they use cursive font. Why did they have to do that? And then they made the font like super small on top of that. I'm like, really? But this is actually a really quite in-depth paper. It shows you the various different species, male and female, where they're found, different mouth parts, the different head parts, abdomen.
There is. I think that. I mean, the more they're really active. You know, like as adults. So you get loads of them for a start. When you buy calcium worms, you get loads for peanuts. Basically, yeah, they're cheap. And yeah, they probably in about 3 weeks they turn to soldier flies. So I guarantee you've got some left over anyway. You see, it always works out like that,
Yeah.
and they're great. My thingy, my sea versicle, loves them. Yeah.
Yeah, see that's the thing. But like I
Some
said, I'd rather
trees
have
all over.
the. I would rather have the moths. They're just bigger in general, from what I gathered. Like I said, again, waxworms. Certain insects are not allowed here in Sweden, and most of the insects that aren't allowed are something you would be able to find in the UK, and something you would be able to feed your animals. And I'm like, I want to feed them. But there is one thing we have that you guys probably don't. Well, maybe you guys do. I don't know. We get these super large grasshoppers, and I mean these things are huge. Let's see if I can find them.
Not as common here, but do you mean grasshoppers? You mean sort of green bush crickets?
No, these are actual grasshoppers. These are actual hoppers.
Yeah, no.
These things are huge. These things are huge. They're about the length of my palm, and yeah, no, they're massive. But our weather won't allow them to live here. So if they ever get out, they're not going to survive. So they are allowed here, and they're quite popular, except for in the winter because you can't get a hold of them. That they don't have a breeding cycle in the winter.
Get you.
They're not like crickets where they're easily bred. And yeah, they're not exactly easy to. No, they're easy to pay for. They're just not exactly easy to get a hold of. Especially in the beginning of the summer because everybody's buying them up. It's about midsummer is when you can get them. No, when I get my hands on them as soon as possible, my regalis is like, here you go. I just practically just drop it in, and he's having a great time. Oh no! The thing is, millions of critters. Because I am buying my apartment, but because I'm living in an apartment, I have to obey by the building overall rules, and I cannot house, keep, or grow what they would call feeder insects, because many of them can become invasive to the building itself,
Hmm.
such as roaches. So that becomes a health hazard at a point because roaches can carry bacteria and other things, and not to mention they can destroy building material, and it takes a lot of money for the exterminator to come through and get rid of
PhD.
them because we have so many stringent laws for environmental use. Take care of HD arachnids. Have a good night. I hope you had a great night, and I will see you next week. But yeah, we have such stringent laws when it comes to environmental use. We actually have to pay for permits to have the exterminator guy to come out and take care of it. So they don't allow feeder insects. Oh, I see that. I see a little one. So like I said, it's again, for me having just superworms here, that bending the rules kind of,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because I'm not growing them per se. I'm not giving them materials to breed them. I'm not having tubs of them. I have a cup of insects, and nobody will ask me or know when did I buy them. I always say, "Hey, I bought them. I bought these today. I am feeding my tarantulas tonight." They can't tell me no. I can't do that. Now they know tarantulas. Believe it or not, you can keep. You can keep, but you cannot keep what we call smooth spiders. Remember that word. Remember I was telling you.
Yeah,
Here's why.
yeah, go on. Yeah.
Because smooth spiders can become invasive. Even we have no dangerous spiders here in Sweden, but they can become invasive to the building. So they can
Okay.
become pests to people. And then people will have to pay for exterminator by having to pay for the extra permits.
All right.
And it costs a lot of people a lot of money. So, but I can keep tarantulas, and here's why. Tarantulas cannot get out to become invasive. They need to actually breed. So I would have to literally release the clutch for it to become invasive.
Yes, I get you. I get you. It's not like a true spider laying its egg sack at about 200. You know what I mean? Underneath a windowsill or something. And it'd be
Exactly.
like about 200. Yeah, I get you. Yeah. No, I appreciate that. Yeah, yeah.
Yep. So tarantulas are exempt. We can have tarantulas. And snakes, of course, are always exempt because snakes here can't survive in the cold.
Yeah. If you get a lot of wild caught huntsmen from the breeders over here, and they give fertile egg sacs. A lot Tetrapodon David Bowie, and there's a I don't know, it's Tetrapoda, but it's like a black huntsman. Again, I know a few guys who've had a wild caught one, and they've had produced fertile egg sacs. The next thing you know, they've got like 300 slings, haven't they? So
Yeah. No. Take care, millions.
let him in.
Uh,
Let's go.
so yeah, that's the thing with this here is I have stringent laws that tie me down of what I can and can't do. So
Hmm.
their food is pretty limited. That and I refuse to feed roaches. I can't do roaches. Sorry.
Hmm.
So it's crickets, superworms, hoppers, silkworms if I can ever find them. Silkworms are extremely hard to get. They're extremely
Yeah, yeah,
expensive to get. Holy
yeah. I
crap!
can imagine that. Yeah.
And maggots and then flies from the maggots. Sometimes I'll let the whole batch just grow out as much as possible and then feed a fly. But that's to the juveniles, because that's not going to feed a full on spider. So let's just put let's just, so yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much what I have to do is kind of get around the laws a little bit. And yeah, even though I'm strapped a little bit, my tarantulas aren't suffering. I can say that much. They're quite fat and happy. So are you ready to take a break? My drink needs to be refilled. I don't know about everybody else. You guys want some music, I guess?
Yeah, Dave.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we got some music coming up for you. Sorry, we kind of went on a little tangent, a little bit longer than we expected, and started talking a little more than we normally do. But we do have some music. Hey, go figure. That's what we do here. So, again, I wanted to warn some of the people that just got here or got here a little bit before or after the songs, that I have started to play the 1990s rock alternative version, kind of what we kind of grew up with, in my case. And if you're a little older, then you probably appreciate some of the nostalgia. If you're a little younger, maybe you like something, who knows, but just kind of mixing it up a little bit. So our next song coming up is Bright Nights.
Sing for me sweet lullabies. Bright nights, an everlasting darksome days. Bright nights, and wearing the stain you made of me. And I wait, and I wait, and I wait, and I wait for the bright nights to lead my way through the maze.
Audio. still on.
There we go. So Mark the Spider Guy just said, "Oh, I'm sorry, Mark. That
Right.
sucks."
It does. Oh, gutted, mate. Flipping.
That sucks.
Why it happens?
Is
doesn't it?
was it age, or do you know what happened, Mark? That sucks. Ladies and gentlemen, Mark the Spider Guy has found his GBB had passed. Oh, that's horrible. Getting off a little tough topic. Have you seen that video of the security guy from South Africa?
Is this the one who's getting shot at?
Yeah.
I've not
Drowned.
seen it. I've heard about
What?
it. Yeah.
How did it drown? Did it try to molt in its water dish? I like how we have that awkward silence where we wait for him to answer.
I see. It's a big deal, isn't it? Like, flipping. Especially because they're very. The big display spiders as well, aren't they? You see, I know. Don't get me wrong. I mean, that's not the long and short of it, anyway.
Yeah. Oh, okay, so it flipped over in its water dish and drowned. Yep. No, that sucks. I'm sorry, Mark. But yeah, they're considered display spiders. That guts me. I'm sorry, Mark. That really sucks.
Yeah, I mean, like fossorials, I used to ask people. I used to say, look, because I've had it before where like they've passed away in the burrow, you know, and I was like, how do you find out what's happened? And a couple of friends say like break the webbing ever so often, so they start, you know, so they build it up again, kind of thing.
Yeah, see, that's what I do. Is it's not the webbing that I break down; it's the entry.
Yes, yeah, yeah,
When when they're whole, I make a small hole, and
Mhm.
you'll see them. They'll either come out with Slapper will come out with all fangs, you know, slapping whatever I decided to put in there, earning her name, Slapper, or she'll disappear and I won't see her, and the next thing I know, the next morning it's like filled. I'm like, yep, she's still there.
yeah.
And what I do is, because she is notorious about this one. She loves to hide in her burrow so much because that's what they do. I will, you know, wet down the front of in front of her burrow. I mean, I will soak it. But I won't soak anything else either because I know she's burrowed away from that. Now she could have burrowed back underneath it, and it'll soak, so she'll either stay there or she'll move. But it gives her time to actually, you know, vacate that area. But since I'm messing around with the front and it's moist, I know she's getting her moisture. Because if she wants to drink, she'll come up there to drink.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much how I take care of all of my fossorials. I mean, even when I had my Mira digger, I would take eye drops, the eyedropper, of course, clean out, of course, and you know, moisten the top of his trap door, and he was fine with that. Sometimes his little feet will stick right back out and be like, "Oh, something's moving," and then he'll feel the water, and they'll just disappear. And I'm like, "Really?" Oh, I love Digger so much. Digger, oh god, I still miss him so much. It's so funny. Now this goes out to the audience as well as you. Have you ever had anybody ask, why are you so attached to your tarantulas?
Yeah, a lot of people like it. Quite, hey, a lot of my mates, they're like, I wouldn't go near them. But then when you talk to them properly, like, they get it, you know, yeah. Yeah, but I'm not treating them. I'm not treating them like a cat or a dog anyway. You know, there's a difference.
Well, for me, I kind of do.
Yeah, it's fair
I
enough,
give them name. I give them a name, and I spend a good 3 minutes, 4 minutes per enclosure just to make sure they're doing okay and
Yeah.
clean their enclosure out, of course. But yeah, I don't know. I'm weird, I guess. I don't know what to say. I'm really in love with my tarantulas, and yeah, I'll miss
There's
them
nothing wrong
to
with
you know, just like I would miss my cat if they passed away, you know, kind of
that.
thing. So yeah, I guess maybe I'm just a little weird. I don't know,
Yeah, well,
but
yeah.
yeah,
I'm trying to, um, I try and make the enclosures like that. So that's how I am with them. I'm the same. I'm trying to make all these. That's the way I show it, if that makes sense. Oh
yep,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, and then I always get this question: why they can't feel anything? They can't give you anything back. And I'm like, that's not their job to. My job is just to enjoy them how they are. That's
Yeah,
why
I
I'm so
mean,
attached to them.
what's the right term? We anthropomorphize stuff, don't we? That's in our
Oh,
nature, isn't
absolutely,
it? That's how
exactly.
we attach to things. I get it. I get it. It's no
Oh
harm in
yeah.
doing them. It's the,
And the thing is, I've had one person ask me, why do I always talk to my tarantulas? They have no ears, they can't hear. No, but they feel the vibration,
yeah.
and that doesn't startle them when I'm messing around their enclosure, because
Hey,
they
Lewis.
feel that I'm there. They know that I'm there. So yeah, I don't know. I got asked that not too long ago. I was like, again, it's not the animal's job to give me enjoyment. It's my job to take care of them. That's my enjoyment, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
But
I've had on forums, silly Facebook pages, I've had people do the old, what a freak and stuff like that. I've had that, but well, uh, they won't talk to me like that in the pub. I know that much, but yeah, basically that's how that works if it comes down to that. But my friends, like some of them take the Mickey, like, what the hell have you got that for? Why have you got that? But then when you show them and you talk to them, they get really interested. Um,
oh yeah, their curiosity starts to override, and their standoff nature. And they're like, oh really? Oh, I didn't know
I
tarantulas can be blue or purple, or I didn't know they dance when they ate. That's kind of neat.
I went to back in 2019, I think it was 2019. I went to the Western Invert Show in Bristol. I tied in staying at my friends. So that was really good, like catching up there. And we went to it on the Sunday. We went to and he as soon as he got in there, as soon as he went in the show, he was just like, "This is amazing." He said, "This is like a Louis Theroux documentary," and he also said, "This is sort of quintessential eccentric England." When he went to the show, that's what he said. He says he loved it. He said there was a sense of sort of family there. He says he just loved it. It was quaint, even though he had nothing to do with the hobby. He just came along to look. He was like, I get it. I get. He understood. He understood absolutely.
Yeah, welcome back, Moo.
Um,
But yeah, no. Speaking of expos and stuff like that, um, does anybody have any news when the expos are going to start opening up again? Because our expos are closed all the way until November.
see, 1 minute I hear there's something going on at Doncaster. It's going to be like members only, and then I need to ask Tony Webb. He's the man for that. He'll know off the bat. Uh, there was rumours of Doncaster being open members only. I don't know what's happening with the BTS in Warwick, but again, I'll be honest. This last few weeks or so, it's slipped my mind anyway. I've sort of resigned that it's not going to happen. So
Maybe
I've not
Mark
sort.
might know. I know
Hmm?
Mark, the spider guy, might
Yeah,
know.
he would. I think. Yeah, he's from that neck of the woods, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Mark. What's going on your neck of the woods? What's going on? We want expos.
Arlington, cool.
Arlington, Texas had one last month.
Hmm.
Can the Texans teach Swedes how to get over their fear and actually move their ass and get expo started again? Because the thing is, what I want to do is I want to go to an expo. I want to do a live show from an expo. I thought it'd be really cool,
Mhm.
especially before my
Lewis,
subscription runs out.
on the ball.
The opening is normal. The BTS is canceled. Oh, that sucks. Moon says no mass. I'm absolutely jealous.
Alright.
Mark the Spider Guy says sorry, miles away. Mark, but you should know. Mark knows everything. That's his job.
Need to get a comfier chair. It's rubbish.
That's probably and comfy pants. He needs his comfy pants.
Yeah, I do, yeah. Come back to-
But yeah, what I was planning on doing was I was going to do a live show from the expo, and then have some of the guests come on, some of the vendors come on as a guest, and not only promote their business but be able to talk about their hobby, their involvement, and all that. Nope, can't do it. Like son of a gun.
Well, you mean you just can't do it because there's none to go to, or there's
Yeah,
some,
exactly.
like, yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless I go to Denmark. Denmark apparently might be having one still. Problem is, I need money. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want a live show from Denmark, you're gonna have to send me some support.
It's gone.
Can't do
Get
it
all
on my
their
own.
Patreon out. Patreon. Oh.
I do have Patreon. That's the thing, and nobody does it. No, I think I'm gonna do either GoFund. Is it GoFundMe?
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah, it's a GoFundMe. Kickstarter doesn't do it. It's
Mm.
GoFundMe. So I'm thinking about doing a GoFundMe and see if get some people donating, and then we can
Yeah, cool.
start traveling from expo to expo. But the thing is, the expos are so far away. Just getting there is expensive, and then staying in the hotel and getting back, and then the food. That's not even including
Yes.
the food. The paying for the table to be there, paying for the spot to be set up. Because most expos that I know of, especially here in Scandinavia, you can, if you pay for a setup, you get a wristband for your pass, and the person with you also. So anything additional to that, you can get discount, but you have to let them know who all is in your crew. And
Yeah.
since it's just myself and one other person to help set up the sound, and he's absolutely terrified of tarantulas, but he loves snakes, so he was like, I'll be your sound person. I'll be your sound person. Just let me go. I want to see the snakes." I was like, "You sure? Are you sure your girlfriend's gonna let me take you?" Yeah. And then she's like, "Yes, take him, please." I'm like, "Okay."
Wait.
I'm like, "Okay." Only would I have friends that would kick the other one out. Like, really? And she's like, "Yeah, I don't care. You just make him sleep on the street. I don't freaking care if you take him or not. Just take him." I'm like, okay, I get the point.
Go.
So, but yeah, that's a conversation for another show.
So there's about, for me, like realistically, there's about four I can within like a 3 hour drive kind of thing. It's a full day, but for you, like obviously, for you, it's a matter of days, isn't it? Going somewhere like that. Whereas for me, like
Denmark is, I want to say Denmark is about 20 hours if I go by train, something like that.
yeah. So, like for an example, for me, like
If I go by
Halifax,
car, it might be be a little bit faster. So
well, yeah, Halifax show for me is like 2 hours away. You see, you know what I mean? I can set off at 12 in the afternoon and still do what I wanted to do, and then be back home for my tea. Something like that.
what
That's
is your
easy,
tarantula
isn't it?
doing? The one behind your head, what is it doing? Looks like it's struggling a bit. The one in the middle. The one directly behind your head.
It's just losing its rag with. It doesn't like. Oh, we got some moss in there. What are you doing? It got annoyed by some moss. I think there's some dried. Oh, what's it called? Oh no, you can't see it anyway. I don't know. Right, basically, there's some Spanish moss in there, and it just got annoyed by it, and it's barreling it up, shifting it out of the way, basically.
I think it's hilarious when they make their own homes because it's like, I make this beautiful home for you. And they're like, no, no,
It's a shame
no.
I've not. My LP's done that. I've got. You can't see it. I can't move the camera at the moment because it's fixed on a stand. To my which way? Okay, where I'm looking there is an LP enclosure, and it's just bulldozed it. Absolutely, it's got its like ornamental water dish, which is in keeping. Its water dish is like a pod, like a plant pod kind of thing. So it looks like it's something out of the jungle. That's bulldozed. It's artificial plants, bulldozed. Basically. Yeah,
It's just funny when they do it. No, well, Urban Exotics says they're leaving
I
YouTube
just
for a
saw
while.
them. Yes,
This
had enough for
the
a bit, mate.
last live I'm commenting on for a while. It sucks. I hope you get everything. Is he moving? Maybe it's because he's moving.
He's off to if he's off to Garstang, off to Sunny Climbs there on the field. Is he still here? Hopefully he's still here. He's still there, Lewis.
I like how we have the awkward silence. Wait. Oh, there. He's like, I'm off, guys. Bye.
See you later, mate.
Take care. So anyways, yeah, or wait, the way they, oh yeah, the tarantulas decorating their own enclosures after decorating. No, I was just gonna say, what time is it? Oh, we are already 2 hours into the show, so I think we're gonna wrap things up. I got things to do. I got a house to clean. I gotta flawlessly and squeaky clean my house. That's what I've been doing all day for the most part today. Trying to get that taken care of.
Yeah.
I've got family coming over tomorrow. My mom's coming over tomorrow. I've got a lot of people coming over tomorrow. So I want to at least my house clean. Plus my cat's allergies. So, Mark the Spider Guy says, "Thank the good side. I had my Strimmy, Homori, and LP all molt this week. That's good." Mark, I'm glad there's an upside to it. I'm just really sad about your GBB. That bites it. Anyway, but Mark, I've just started painting inverts. For some reason, that sentence didn't come to mind. Yeah, I'm trying to see. That thing's going to take me forever to paint. Not to mention Tara's and Scott's lizard painting that I'm gecko painting that I'm doing. I'm just like, that the individual scales is a pain. He says yes, I'm gutted. Yeah, no, I would be too. That doesn't feel very good. Again, I'm really sorry to hear that. And see, this is one of the reasons why I make shallow water dishes as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Is because of that fear. But the problem with the shallow ones is they tend to make water everywhere.
Yeah.
Literally everywhere. Water goes everywhere if you make a shallow water dish. And so it's just a huge mess. And I'm like, is this worth it? But yeah, apparently it is. So again, Mark, I'm really sorry to hear that. So sucks, man.
Yeah, it's right bugger, isn't it? So.
But at least his Strimmy, Homori, and his LP all molted fine.
Mm.
And that's one tarantula I don't have in my collection. I mean, I have a GBB, but I was thinking of, selling some of the slings. So I've got a bunch of others. And yeah, that's. Oh, by the way, sites and gifting. Don't even get me started on government bureaucracy when it comes to selling tarantulas and even gifting tarantulas.
Mm-hmm.
So the Nandu Trapepe, I can actually send to you, no problems, because they're not on the sites
Okay.
on the sites list. Brachypelma, though,
Yeah.
any of the Brachypelmas, I
Not
still
happening.
have to prove, even if it's a gift, I still have to prove that they are captive bred.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, dude, they're slings.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. I'm like,
Bloodline thing, yeah. It's big.
they wouldn't have been able to survive in getting shipped here from the wild. We are way too far away. Can somebody please do the freaking math? But we don't know what happens if it grows up and that person wants to sell the tarantula. Oh, I'm going to beat my head into the ground. It was just like, somebody who made these laws do not collect tarantulas and do nothing, not know anything about the biology of tarantula. It just drove me nuts. I get their point. I really do get their point, but it's just, it's, I want to say a silly
Yeah.
or stupid point.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, I know what
basically
you
what
mean.
it is.
Yeah.
But anyways, we are 2 hours in. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on this podcast. I'm Cracks, your host, with Bailey from Bailey's Bug Blog. Go check out his Facebook. If you have any questions about photography, go check out his photography. He's got a whole blog on it. It's really awesome read.
Yeah, I will. I'll set it up. I'll set it up properly. Just give us a fortnight, because unfortunately I can't get on next week. And I'll
Yep.
set it up properly so we can do the thing. And I'm going to get these little teething problems for the streaming sorted as well. Get to the bottom of it. I want to get this
That's no
mic
problem.
working. Stupid thing.
And I know everybody right now is pretty much doing the Fatal Fangs thing, so that's why we've had such a low turnout lately. So I get it. It's no problem. That's why I keep wanting to run the podcast a little shorter than normal, mainly because,
Yeah.
people are busy doing their own thing, and I don't want to take too much time.
Cool.
Yeah. But long story short, I'm going to call it a night. That whole sneeze, I hear my brother. It's so funny. You can always hear when he's gaming, and then he like coughs or sneeze, and his voice gets really loud for a brief moment. It's hilarious. It's just it's family. What can I say? So, anyways, Mark the Spider Guy, Urban Exotics UK, Moon Over Miami, Flo. Who else did we have on tonight? We didn't have too many. Yeah, HD Arachnids. We had Arachno Shack, Stefan Hodup, and who else? I think that was it. If I missed somebody, Millions of Critters too, and Ophi Spider-Verse. They were here as well. Again, thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. We're going to play one last song. As tradition, we call it The Last Call. If I can... There we go. And happy days, yeah. Good night, everybody.
Yeah.